Hi, everyone. So it was a great first week. There was lots of participation and engagement, so keep that up. And just as a reminder, I'll usually have grades done by Thursday. So in Module 2, we're going to talk about how managers use leadership and the ways in which people who follow can help them drive success and drive change in the organization. So we're going to look at the roles of leaders, managers, and followers. Your discussion is going to be another time to describe when you were an effective leader or follower. And then you'll have a close look at management practices in your written assignment. So be sure to review the assignment specs very clearly and review the rubric, because you can use the rubric as something to outline your work. And certainly if there are any questions, feel free to post those on the general questions forum, because probably if you have the question, someone else does too. So in my last announcement, I talked a little bit about the differences between management and leadership. And today I'm just going to take a couple minutes to talk about what makes an effective follower. And obviously there are many answers to that question. But these are some of the most common. And one of the first is just the ability or the courage to assume responsibility. So the effective follower has a sense of ownership, and has a sense of contribution to the outcome. And they can't presume that the leader's going to hand them anything, right? So they have to assume responsibility also for speaking up and for talking to that leader. The next thing is they have the ability to challenge. And as we saw in our discussion last week, it's not always easy to do that. And in a few minutes, we'll talk something else about being a good follower. But a good leader is one that accepts challenge. But you also, as a follower, should feel comfortable and want to challenge. So, if a decision is going to compromise the organization or its values or its mission or your values or your personal mission, then you have to speak up. You have to say something. Another thing that makes a good follower is someone that's willing to take part in change. And from some of our discussions last week, we saw that change is not easy. It never is. But as an effective follower, you're going to step up and look at it as an opportunity. You're going to become innovative, creative, and kind of support the leader through the change, because a lot of times if there's a big change, leaders end up feeling like they're really on their own, and sometimes they are. So effective followers want to participate in change. And then one thing that I alluded to earlier is an effective follower knows when it's time to go. When change happens, even if it's positive, but it drives you away from your values, or you feel like that you're just not going to be compatible, then good followers, we have to be able to say, you know what, maybe now's the time to go. So those are important things, right? Now you'll see a lot more in your reading, and I'm sure you'll come up with some of your own, which is fantastic. But one other thing is, leaders are often asked, well, what do you need from followers? And again, lots of answers there. But some of the most common are the attitude, that I can get it done attitude, because leaders want outcomes. They don't want excuses. But it makes their jobs easier when people approach things with that can-do attitude and kind of say, you know what, we can do this. Leaders like people who want to collaborate, who take an approach that is collaborative. You're not out there working on your own. You're all working in it together. And again, that's about also taking responsibility and taking initiative to be collaborative. But then also there's a couple of things involved in personal drive. So leaders like to see people who want to stay current in their field, whether that's through qualifications or certifications or just whatever, reading, just being aware of how your industry has changed and how things are evolving. But then there's also that personal drive for growth. So you're all in this class because you have a personal drive for growth because you want to get your degree. So leaders like people that recognize their own growth potential, recognize their own development needs, they like people that, again, they're going to speak up about it. They're going to ask for that development. So these are just a few things. Again, lots and lots of answers here. I hope in your reading you're going to find a few more gems on how to be a good follower, but that's something that we will be discussing during the week. So again, if you have any questions, post them in the general questions forum, or you can email me. Just remember that your initial discussion posts are due on Thursday, and everything else, including your responses and written assignments, are due on Sundays. I hope you have a great week, and I will see you in the discussion forum.